Hey guys, today we're going to be looking at the new Inferno A site, specifically smokes, flashes and molotovs for short, long or pushing around into B. These are applicable whether you're on your own, whether you're in a pair or a full team. You could do the whole execute, for example, or you can just pick one out and absolutely perfect it. So let's jump straight in. And if you just want to see all of the nade spots and none of the chatter, then just click here to go to the end of the video where I just quickfire go through all of the nade spots used in this video. So the first thing we're going to talk about is pushing short, and when you do that you want to smoke off long initially. So come stand anywhere between sort of this area and just aim at the corner of this roof and throw the smoke. And this is going to bounce off that wall, off this pillar, and completely smoke off the long player. There's no gaps for this guy to peek through, he can't jump over it, so it's a really nice smoke to use for just blocking off long. The next thing you want to do is smoke off the pit. The easiest way to do that is with this smoke, where you come between these two flowers, aim at this wooden pillar and then up to this antenna on the left and throw the smoke. This is going to bounce just here and block off this, the front side of pit. This is important as any CT sort of standing on here would normally get a decent angle on you boys pushing in, but this prevents that, and you only have to worry about the broken wall in pit now. And we can use the second smoke to block that off entirely too. So if you come to this broom in middle, aim at this wooden pillar and then up to the same antenna and throw. Or you can do the same smoke from this side, where you come into this wall, aim between the bottom of this flower pot and this part of the wood, and up to the antenna on the right. The first one bounces off the barrel, and goes over there, and the second one bounces off the hay, sometimes off of this bit too. It goes in the same place, and you can see here the other smoke landed about here, that we have the complete coverage that we need for pit, completely eradicating it from the execute. The final thing we want to look into doing is smoking off mini pit on the other side of the site. So you can do that by simply coming into this wall here, then aiming right here on this first part of the balcony, just above it, and throwing the smoke. So this one's going to fly over the site, and it's going to land here, bouncing off the wall and smoking off this part. Now when you're pushing through, you don't have to worry about the rotators. This is the main angle that's going to be a problem in. You just don't have to worry about it anymore unless you start trying to push around here, in which case there's a little gap. So you just bear that in mind and you'll be absolutely fine. So for the short execute, flash-wise, let's talk about this first one actually getting in through mid. So come into these flowers and you want to throw the flash up there. It's going to bounce off that wall, pop up there, and it's going to blind the majority of these sort of short angles. You see it's always sort of visible wherever you're playing, as long as you're holding like the wall. The only one it doesn't is if they're playing sort of close or around to this side. So always come out, walk out with your gun out. You can also do this flash from down here, for example. Just sort of come around this area and aim about here and just run and throw the flash. It's going to pop around the same place and do another little pop flash for middle. The last flash that we're going to consider using on short is the second or third guy, so you've always got a guy in front of you with a gun out, can throw this flash to help you guys enter, and you basically just want to throw it over there onto the roof like this. So you see I wasn't flashed at all, it's gone up there. And everyone sort of playing around here, holding these angles, wherever they are going to get flashed by that. Now, if you're towards grave, it's not a great pop flash, but if you're playing around here, it's a pretty decent one, or on the site close, for example. So for this short execute, we'll briefly touch on a Molotov you can use if there's players playing behind the pillars in quad that are really annoying you, or on top of quad. Simply come up to this wall, then line this one up with the pillar behind it like that, and just aim from the top left of this pallet to somewhere about here, and just tap forwards and throw. Molly's going to go like that and land underneath and burn off both sides of the pillars in quad. And if you want to get it on top, simply do the exact same lineup, but look at the top of the roof and run forwards a little bit further and throw. That's going to burn up on top of quad like that, and a little bit of fire further down too. But just be careful because they can jump over onto the flowers here or back up there and they won't be mollied, so you need to just be careful if you do that one. So at the start of this short execute, we're going to have two players around this area, one with a smoke and a flash ready to smoke and flash long, and one just with his gun out. We're also going to find two players over here ready and waiting to do their pit smokes, and a final guy again with his gun out waiting for the initial smoke and flash to go. Once two players have pushed up, he can then do the mini pit smoke. So the way we're going to see this work out is the first guy with his smoke and flash is going to smoke and flash long like this. Then the first and second guy will both push up and push into short. As soon as the smoke and flash goes off and they push in, this guy here is going to be doing his mini pit smoke. and at the same time he throws that, you guys over here are going to be doing their pit smokes. So you'll see that will go off. So first and second push through, potentially does this flash or this Molotov, and you adjust the execute accordingly. Everyone else pushes in, and you can see everything's smoked. So all you need to worry about is balcony, graveyard, on the stairs, and anyone in the site. Everything else is smoked off. Once you're in, you can have a guy holding mid for the B rotators, or you can be holding in the apps, for example, in quad in case they come from long, and all of that. And we'll generally see, if it's a 3 setup on A, there'll be 1 pit, 1 long, 1 quad. So for our long execute, the first thing we're going to do is smoke off the short area. We need to be careful with short because of the pallet, because of quad, this balcony, this flower pot, boiler, all of these areas. There's so many just here, and we can't smoke them all off with just one smoke. So we kind of pick boiler as it's the one that gives them the most cover, and we 100% make sure we smoke this off. And then we make do with the best of it, having, say, our third or our fourth player holding these angles, making sure nobody tries to peek over the smoke, for example. So the best way to smoke off short is to come into this corner back here, then simply aim at the top left of this towel on this rack and throw the smoke. And this is going to bounce off the window, drop down into short like this. 100% smokes off boiler, so no one's going to be able to peek through there. But then we make do with pallet. They can't do it from this side, but they have to jump up here. And when they're up here, they can see. So the issue with this is that we have maybe 1 or 2 players go out, and the third player, he just holds this angle. He holds above the smoke on quad, and he holds this angle here. For this smoke as well, if they're on top of quad, they can see over it. And if they're on this the flower box, or on this balcony up here, it's very difficult to smoke this area off. So just bear that in mind as you do this execute. But if you're fast enough, or you use flashes, for example, you can blind them while you try and make your way around long. So the second smoke we need is to smoke off the archway. And the most simple way to do that is to come into these flowers here, just into the bunch of flowers. It doesn't have to be too specific, but then look at where the corners of these roofs meet, just there. It's a really easy smoke. This one just flies straight over like that, straight into the archway like this, and then it just blows up in there, which is really great. And then the final smoke we want for a long execute is to smoke off the library. So to get that, we can push ourselves into this corner, and then simply aim where this roof meets this one, so right here, and up to this top wire. Throw that smoke, it's going to fly over like this, bounce on the roof once, and down, and just smoke off the front of the library like that, right at the front. So it smokes off this corner if they try and push out around the smoke, and it just has this whole thing smoked off. So your initial flash for pushing long is the same as your short flash. You just come to these flowers and throw a flash up there, and then push up with it. And again, you can also do this from back here. Just look at this thing, tap forwards, and throw the flash. So these flashes are great for coming out both short and for long. You've then got to worry about this cubby. But the easiest way to do that is simply line up this wall with this pillar, aim about here on the wall, and throw the molly. And that's just going to go straight back into the cubby like that, burn it out, and give you a really long spread, causing him to run all the way back around into archway. So in terms of this execute, you're going to have one guy start over here and do his short smoke. You're going to have another guy around here doing a flash, or possibly down the end of mid, and he's going to do his flash either as it pops or just before it pops or whatever, that's fine. And then you're going to have those 2 players push in. So as they're pushing in, they're going to be clearing this or doing the Molotov or whatever they want to do. At the same time, you're going to have the other 2 players. One guy's going to smoke off library, and the other one's going to smoke off library, and the other one's going to smoke off arch. So while they're throwing the smokes, these 2 are pushing up, and as they come around this corner should be when the 2 areas get smoked. Now they make sure they check cubby, either with a Molotov or actually checking it, and then they push up. And now this is where it can get tricky. Pushing into a site through here can be very tough. It may be worth waiting for the short smoke to die so that the 2 players left back can go through short and they can pincer the A site, or you can do the pit smokes from the short execute to smoke off pit. Alternatively, you can smoke off balcony. If you know a player likes to play in apps, you can smoke off balcony by simply coming into this wall between the window and the edge, and then aiming just where this wire meets the top of this roof, right? This will fly over and bounce down here and just smoke off the balcony like this. And this is also a great one for CTs that are actually retaking. They can smoke off the balcony and make sure that they can't just hide in balcony and shoot when you defuse. So now that you have the utility to take short and long control, we're going to add in one more smoke and try a long to B. So initially we're going to see our short smoke and our flash go out And that's going to give the first and second player time to push up and take long, and give the third player time to come in and just make sure that short is held. And now the fourth player, he's going to be doing this new smoke, and this is to come into this corner, aim at the corner of this roof and up to between these two wires and throw the smoke. Now this is the crucial one for the execute. It's going to go over to long, bounce off here, and completely smoke off this area. And it means any CT player that's trying to rotate from the site or fall back or anything is now completely blocked off. They'll have to go through library, which means you'll need to quickly wrap around and hold this area. But it gives your team a really quick chance to just push straight into CT and go through here to B. And usually by this time you'll see CTs rotating, so you could try even going slowly or whatever to make them think that you haven't quite rushed it. And you can just play with their brains a little bit with a bit of psychology to try and take that B site. So with the B execute, one of two things is going to happen. You're going to push CT and you're going to be met immediately by resistance from rotating CTs. And that's a little gunfire, that's based on aim, it's just a duel you're going to have to win. However, if they don't push you, it means they've stayed in the site or they've gone to banana to try and get you in a crossfire. So a way to deal with that, if you've made it here with no resistance, is to have one of your guys come to this well and just aim between these two notches on the roof and just throw a smoke like this. Or he could jump on top of the well like this, go onto the corner here, and then aim where the edge of this goes up to this top wire and throw the smoke. So the first one's going to land at the front of site, and it basically allows you guys to push up without too much hassle from anyone playing at the back of site, and then gives you a chance to go banana, where you could always flash your way in like this, then check pool and then go up. And the second one lands over by old spools by the coffin area, and it just blocks this off, allowing you to just really have to push in and clear these angles one at a time around the smokes without as much hassle as it may have been. You could also have people coming from B to help pincer the site or whatever, and just generally do a big execute on B. So the last thing I want to talk about is that you don't have to use these specific smokes for their specific executes. Instead, you can use them for two reasons. The first is to play with the minds of the enemies, for example. So you could always use your long smoke over here to make the long player maybe push through library and into CT spawn and get the shorter players or the guys on site to move more over towards long and get them ready for like a B split. Or for example, you could put some smokes down and then just go to B. Like, you can do all these kinds of things with these smokes. You don't have to do these specific executes the way that I've shown them. And secondly is that if you do use these smokes for these executes, it's worth doing the smokes on rounds where you're not going to do the executes and not using them, or using them in a different way, because the worst thing is putting the exact smokes down every round and doing the exact same thing every round. It just telegraphs your execute based on where the smokes go, and it kind of defeats the point of them. So sometimes you might want to just put the same smokes down and not use them, or use them in a different way and just try and keep everything fresh. Like if you put down a short and a long smoke and then hit them from apps, they're not going to expect that. And then another round you might put down a short and a long smoke and go round to B. So it's two very different executes with the same smokes. So we'll start recapping the nade spots used in the video now. The first one is to smoke long from middle. Just stand anywhere between here. Aim at the top left corner of this roof and just throw a smoke. Bounces off the wall, off the pillar here, straight into the middle, and gives you that nice smoke. The next three smokes are from mid to pit. So the first one is to stand between these two flowers. Aim at this wooden beam and up to the antenna on the left and throw. This is the front of pit. Then to do the back of pit, you want to come into this broom. Aim at this wooden beam and up to the antenna on the left. Or to do the same one, you can come into this corner here. Then aim between this little nib and the bottom of this plant pot and up to the antenna here and throw. First one lands at the front, and the second and third one land at the back and completely smoke off the pit area. To smoke off mini pit on the other side of site, just come into this corner here. Aim on this rung of the balcony, just at the top of it there, and throw the smoke. And it's going to fly over the site, bounce just here, and smoke right in the middle there. To smoke short, just come into this corner here. Aim just at the top left of this towel and throw the smoke. It's going to bounce off here, go down into short and smoke off the short and boiler area. So from middle, we can smoke off the archway and the library. To smoke off the archway, just come into these flowers, about this one. Doesn't have to be exact. And then line up where these two roof corners meet and throw the smoke. To smoke off library, push yourself into this corner here. and then aim where this roof meets up with this roof, so just right here and up to this cable, and throw the smoke. Again, where you aim with that one doesn't have to be very exact. So the first one's going to land into the archway like this, and the second one lands by library like that, and just smokes off both these areas. To smoke off deep long from middle, just come into the corner of this building, and then aim at the bottom of this roof and up to between these two wires, and throw the smoke. And it's just going to fly over here, bounce off the wall, and land right in the middle like that. Lovely. To smoke balcony from long, just come into between this wall and the window, so just in the middle there, and then aim where this wire intersects with the roof at the top there. It's just going to fly over the A site and just land here, blocking off the balcony. Finally, from CT spawn to B, there's two smokes you can do. First is just push yourself into this line on the well, and then aim between these two nibs on the roof and throw the smoke. That's going to smoke off the front of site to help you push up. The second is to smoke off spools by coming into the corner of the roof of the well, and then aim the right side of this and up to the top cable and throw the smoke. So you can see the front of the site is now smoked off, which allows you not to have to worry about AWPers or anyone playing at the back of site as you come up this area. And the second smoke smokes off the spools, which means anyone trying to play on the spools has to jump all the way on top of it or be trapped behind it. As for the flashes in this video, I showed you two main flashes for entering through mid. The first is to just push yourself anywhere into these flowers and aim top left of this roof just here, and it's going to pop flash nicely into the middle area just like that, and that gets anyone sort of boiler, anyone sort of long, anyone playing in the quads areas, anyone sort of watching the middle. The only ways it doesn't get is close to this wall on the right. You can also do that flash from anywhere sort of in mid. Say for example you're down here, you just aim at, of these two things sticking out, you just aim at the top one, tap forwards and throw, and you'll see it pops. Same place. I showed you two Molotovs in this video, one for long and one for short. So the short one is to simply line up this pillar at the back here with this yellow wall, so you can't be seen, and then aim about here and across to above this plank, right? So you just want to aim about there, and just tap forwards and throw the molly. It's going to land under quads, burning out both the pillars, and if you want to land it on top, say if someone likes playing up there, just do the same lineup but aim at the roof and run forwards a little bit more instead. And that's just going to burn like this. We also have the molly for long, which is to come into the other wall, line this wall up with this pillar, just like that, and then aim about 2/3 of the way across and in line with the top of this grate, and then just tap forwards and throw the molly. That's going to land all the way over there, burning right into the corner and giving a big spread, so they have to come all the way out and get burnt quite a lot by that one. So thanks for watching. I know I've been away for a while, but I will hopefully be making more videos through 2017, so that will be pretty sweet. I've just been busy in real life, got a new job, graduated uni, all that yada yada. But yeah, so hopefully I'll be back, and it's thank you for the continued support. Have a good day.